Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show on the first final word of 2025. And what a stellar lineup you've got as well, the awesome foursome. Big up to Andrea Lockie and, of course, Jack City Bitch. Hope you're all doing well. Apologies for this late hour. It's been a bit of a manic day for myself, but we're here, as always, at the evening after the game to discuss the final word. Tonight we'll be going through the game and then obviously having a little chat about January because it is officially, the window is officially open. Seen some funny comments, seen some funny stuff on Twitter already about players were signing and actual professional footballers coming in and just rubbishing them with one simple tweet. So yeah, it's silly season, it's back amongst us, but we love it really. As much as we grieve it, we actually love it. Before we start as well, just want to big up Liam Moore. He said, I said it with my chest Farke out. Enjoyed our respectful back and forth at the time. Glad to be proven wrong. Clear at the top. Just Joe was correct. Me wrong. A good cause, because he did agree if we had a gap at the end of December, which I said we would, he would give £50 to Andy's Man Club. And he has done that, plus £12.50 gifted. So big up to him for doing that. And he now says, man of my word, much love, Joe. Farking. There you go. We have a new member of the FDL, the Farke Defence League, Liam Moore. So big up and thank you for doing that, mate. Yeah, everyone smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. Check out these amazing channels as well. Lockie Leeds, Andrea on Twitter, and of course City of Leeds fans and Jack City Music, please. Jack, I'm going to come to you first, mate, because you were at the game. You did go, right? You were?
Yeah.
You were at the game. How was it, mate, for you? Like, what? Because it was a bit of a frustrating watch for me. I don't want to not give credit to Blackburn because I actually think they're probably one of the best defensive teams, especially Eustace, because it was actually the first goal Farke scored against the Eustace side. And whenever we got into the final third, I just saw black and red shirts and there seemed to be no space whatsoever. So it was a tough watch. How was it for you in the ground, mate?
The first half were frustrating, wasn't it? Particularly, I felt it was, like you say, they just didn't take any bait. They didn't seem to they never left, position. They were really well drilled and really sort of like focused on what the job in hand were, really, weren't they? So and they just took a lot of sting out of the game, which a lot of teams try and do, particularly at Ellen Road, but there were a bit of housery going on, wasn't there? A bit of, rolling back onto the pitch and what have you and stuff. But obviously, I thought second half we were a little bit better, a better game. And I actually felt some were coming, to be fair. I don't know whether sometimes because we're obviously they're playing towards you then, because obviously I'm in cop. So when it's at other end, sometimes you don't really know how much pressure we've got on other end. But I felt the second half were a lot better, much better to watch. And then obviously just frustrating for there to concede once. Because if we'd have ground that out, that would have been one of them games, wouldn't it, where you just think that's a brilliant win, really, because it won't, like say Blackburn were decent. It's just frustrating, really. Frustrating first half. Yeah.
One of them. Chalk it off. Yeah. One of them. I guess the positive thing is the fact that we've dropped 2 points, but actually gained points on the rivals. We've got a 3-point gap now, Jack, with, and we're another game closer to completion of the season. So when you consider it, the last 4 games, I think we've had like 4 games in 12 days, regardless of how we got in front and then lost it in the end. We can talk about that in a sec, but it actually wasn't that bad, was it? You wake up in the morning, Sunderland have beat Sheffield United, Burnley have dropped points. You're like, do you know what? We did all right.
Yeah, and last year that wasn't happening, were it?
No.
If they lost, we lost, and we're all like, we were all sort of messing about.
Yeah.
So, and I said at start of the month in December that we'll have a gap by 1st of January, and then up to about last week, I started to think, hang on a minute, maybe not, but we do have now, don't we? So going into New Year, we are legitimately top.
Yeah.
No games to be, no games in hand, no nothing.
And it really, what it does as well for me, I was talking about it this morning, it really puts pressure on them now because they have to be perfect because, like let's say for the weekend, Burnley have got Blackburn. That's a massive derby at Ewood Park. Sheffield United have got Watford. We're at Hull. If they've almost got to be perfect now and hope that we drop points. You know what I mean? So we're in a we're in a really positive position. Yeah, it's good to see. Andrea, I want to come to you because obviously Jack's touched on the first half. It was frustrating. I think the most frustrating thing for me, and I know you probably felt the same. Well, I know you did. Was decision from Farke to make subs, the Solomon sub, like it proper baffled me at the time why he made that sub. He seemed to be the only player. Well, for me, up to the point where he left the pitch, he was the most dangerous, the most creative player for Leeds United, and we've seen Farke do this before. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. People were saying I was toxic, I was overreacting, but I didn't think I was yesterday. I was just talking about the game, and we've seen it where he brings on 2 strikers, and then it's like we stop delivering the ball into the box. Just before Solomon gets subbed, he plays an unreal ball that goes right across the face of goal, which Dan James misses. That maybe a number 9, a proper number 9, and that's what we think Bamford and Joseph are. He reads that, he gets on the end of it, and I just think to then bring on 2 strikers and then take off the only attacking outlet we seem to have, it just really baffled me, that, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally with you. I think against Derby, Farke won the game or put the game on the right rails, with those substitutions. Yesterday it was the opposite. He completely deranged the train from the rails, and we lost the momentum that we were getting, especially on the left-hand side with Solomon. I think I was really surprised by the substitution. Solomon was easily our best and more proactive player on the pitch. At the time, he was subbed off, so it was really strange. It's a really strange substitution. I really didn't get that. I think it was more of a panic move. Honestly, we've seen it. I used to call it, the Norwich move, because if you remember last season, it worked at Norwich when he brings all the strikers on the pitch and we go ultra offensive like on FIFA. Sometimes it works just a few times, but it doesn't work every time, especially against a team defending properly, low, organized like Blackburn. So, and I thought there were other players, that, for example, needed more vitality. I was baffled too, not just by the substitution of Solomon, but also when Bogle and Byron were forced off, he decided to put Ampadu in. And it didn't have any impact because he's a number 6. He's not a right back. We had a proper back 4 yesterday because we had 4 centre backs basically, because we know that Ampadu last season played there, So we had Ampadu on the right, Roland Strauch, and on the left we had Weber. Weber has a very good left foot, but he's not a left back. He doesn't have the pace to be a left back. He doesn't have, the position sometimes, because yesterday, we were pushing forward, and because the intensity was there every time. The intensity of the team, the will to win this game, and in the end, with the penalty, we were ahead. But I think in the end, the 1-1 was the fair result, because I think Blackburn played the type of game that they needed to play yesterday: organized, defensive, a pragmatic football. I think Eustace, they are 7th now in the league. I think there's better teams that are below them in the table. So props to them, honestly, because it's the second time, and I think they didn't rob a point yesterday. Honestly, to be fair, because in the end, if you look at the game at Ewood Park, and yesterday they played their game, and we got just 1 point out of them, out of a possible 6 against Blackburn Rovers. Yeah. So overall, I think the substitution, especially Bamford again, Joseph. Yeah, he got the penalty, but apart from that episode, that particular moment, I think he lacked again. Bamford didn't have any kind of impact. And on the left, he got Weber up higher on the pitch after Solomon went out. But again, he's a centre-back. He can cover that part of the pitch in a back 3 going forward. If you like Bastoni with Inter Milan, but he has a good left foot, but he is not an attacking fullback. He needs time if you want to adapt him there, but you had an attacking fullback on the bench, Schmidt. Again, now he's fully fit, and he was overlooked twice. Once by a defensive midfielder on the right, and the second time he was overlooked by a centre-back on the left. So, yeah, it's a part of the process, by the way, because it's still a point. We have one more point with from the third place, especially. So it's a part of the process, and that puts to bed also the myth of those saying, "Yeah, we just win the games at home, and we can afford to lose points away when we're struggling away." You still have to win your points at home because teams come to a road, play rough, play organized. It's not going to be easy. We're top of the league, but it's not going to be easy for us, especially after this, because everyone wants to be the team at the top of the league.
Yeah. It will, yeah. Look, and it's that turn of the year where I was looking at the form earlier on, because people are still bringing up this away form and stuff, and actually seeing that Burnley were down in like 13th for home form in the last 5 games. So, like I said, as bad as our away form is perceived to have been, we're actually a lot closer to them at the top than they are to us on their home form, if that makes sense. So we're going along all right, but you talk about Leeds United being that team to beat. The other 2 teams that are actually up there that have the same points as Leeds for December is QPR and Portsmouth. Why? Because they know they have to win because they're in the relegation, and it changes, done it slightly when you've got teams have new managers, teams are battling because they're in a relegation battle. So once the turn of the year comes, we will start to see more freak results and stuff like that, I think, because people have a lot riding on it, don't they? So
yeah,
it is.
Go on, could I just mention the Solomon stuff, Joe, real quick? Because I didn't. Yeah, I was very angry when it happened. I couldn't believe it because I think it was literally, was it a minute before that he put an unbelievable cross in the box where we should have scored from it?
Oh, it was unbelievable! Like it was inch perfect, man.
Yeah, I understand the thinking of what he did, but in the moment, I don't think it made sense. At the end of the day, for me, the best player on the pitch was Solomon. He was still going. He didn't slow down. He was still making moments. He literally had one 30 seconds.
Well, look how annoyed he was with that. He was.
Oh,
he even said, "Why me? Why me?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which surprised.
He knew he played well. He knew he had him. He had that right back. He had him. So that was one thing. He was the best player on the park in our attacking 4. So for me, you play him. Whatever you do, don't take him off. If anyone was going to win the game or create a moment for us, it was him. So for me personally, I didn't understand it. Like I said, I get the reason for it, but in the moment of the game, what was happening, Solomon shouldn't have come off that pitch. Likewise, Dan James on the other side, I think with him, if he was playing really well and he was beating his man and we were getting in, I'd have understood it more as well because you still had Dan James. But to be honest, I think Beck, bar when we went over 1 or 2 times, he dealt with him quite well. And to think on what Andrea said, it's not like our fullbacks were getting high on that right side. Ampadu didn't even leave the halfway line. So we set up to get crosses in that side to create balance, but we weren't even getting crosses in on the right because we didn't have the right back getting up. So it kind of didn't work. It just became a bit of a mess. And in the box, they always outnumbered us by at least 3 or 4. So we weren't finding anyone when we did cross it in, really. And our midfielders were still not in the box. For whatever reason, they're never in the box, really, unless it's like a corner or something. So I understand the thinking, but I think taking Solomon out in the moment where he was the best player on the pitch for us just didn't work for me. And you could tell as soon as he came off, the next kind of 10, 15 minutes, nothing really happened. I understand that he said in the press, and he's right, we scored from something happening on the left, but stuff was happening on the left before.
Anyway, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, look, I didn't agree with it, to be honest.
And
Jack,
also that's
go on, mate.
No, also that's the thing that he broke Gnonto in, played him in the middle, and he had 0 impact. So
it was so deep. Getting it so deep, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Jack, did it come across in the ground, the Solomon sub? Was it
not really, to be fair? I mean, there were a bit of a grumble about it, but not particularly. But there were a lot going on. To be fair, it was the thing with the Solomon sub as well. Like it was in the zone, and that's what we're kind of saying, isn't it? Once it felt like giving him the ball every time he's going to create some. When you have they all have like not every game, but you'll have 10 minutes where you just give me the ball. Like he had lads' number. He were like that, like you say, that delivery. He fizzed it in as well, didn't he? Like it were pinch perfect, inch perfect. Keeper couldn't come get it. Defenders couldn't reach it. It were like it were brilliant ball. And then, like say, that were like the last thing. Like it were no more crosses like that. You could dragging him off.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
It won a few. There can be a bit of a groan character sometimes,
Yeah.
but they won't really, to be fair. I think, I don't know.
I just seen someone's just put in the chat there, bloody Burnley have re-signed Ashley Barnes from Norwich. So there you go. They've brought in Ashley Barnes. They've brought in the right back. They're not messing about, are they? They're getting
The thing
business
is, though,
done.
Joe, people will laugh at that, but it'll get them 5 or 6
Yeah,
goals.
yeah. Of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
From Norwich.
Experience.
From Norwich.
You know what I mean?
I wonder why
Norwich
Norwich.
Norwich have, and I'm sorry to say, but people will not get it honestly. What I'm going to say, but Norwich have our ideal number 9, Josh Sargent.
Yeah.
He is ideal for our system. He is ideal for our system. The way he plays, ideal.
Farke brought him in there, right?
Yeah.
He did. We will get on. We will get on to the January transfer window. That's for sure. Obviously, we get the penalty in the second half, which, to be fair, a lot of people have mentioned. James wins it. Joseph wins it. Bamford's the one that knocks it onto him. So without that, which is fair.
Yeah.
I seen Bamford wrestle the ball. Jack, I bet there was groans in the fucking ground when he did. Apart from Jack was like, "Yes, take it. Let him take it." But mate, as soon as we went the pen, I went, "Do not let Bamford take it, man."
No, that did have a collective hands in it. He does it. I'm sure he's on wind up a bit with it. To be fair, I know they pretend it's like a strategy so that the keeper doesn't know who's taking it or whatever, but I'm not buying that. I think it's all a bit of pantomime. That, to be fair, it is a bit ridiculous though. To be fair, but I'm not 100%. I mean, I know he scored, did Stroud, but I'm not 100% on him on pens though. I know I'm not slagging him off. I'm just I can't.
Centre back.
Yeah, I'm too old school with it. I can't believe there's nobody in that side that can't take a better pen.
It's mental, isn't it?
Someone actually made a point on the watch along.
He side foots it, even in the corners.
I know it wasn't a great pen, and I know it's a really silly thing to say that because if it goes in, it's a good enough penalty, isn't it? But you just imagine, some quality that we've got.
Well, Jack, someone said on the watch along, what does it say about our 2 number 9s that are centre backs taking the pen? That were on the pitch at the time, which I think is fair, but if Strout's the best striker of the ball, or perceived
to be, can he? That's what I'm saying.
I remember Calvin. I'll never forget, right? Because I watched it many, many times. When we got promoted, Calvin, because Pascal, when we got promoted, he said Pascal is. There's a clip where he says he's better than me, and I think Bielsa was trying to mold him into the DM at the time, and they'd said that in terms of him being 2-footed, he's the best at the club. That's what I remember Calvin saying it and stuff. So he clearly he's the clean striker of the ball. And he's scored a few goals in the box with his feet, more so than his head, I think. So maybe we're doing him a bit of a disservice.
I'm trying not to be fair. I don't want to be because
you're just old school. The striker takes the pen.
Well, it doesn't have to be the striker. I'm willing for it to be the 10 or the winger. But as soon as we go any further back
you'd prefer if Brendan grabbed that ball?
Brendan. To be fair, going through the team now, who are you backing to?
Well, I'd expect Gnonto to be able to strike a decent penalty. To be honest.
Yeah.
Drag it. I don't know I don't know what it is about Gnonto at the minute, but I really don't like.
Yeah, but I'm just on about technical ability here.
Yeah.
If you're presuming that you pick them through training.
Yeah.
Well, in training, I can't imagine them not all picking.
Jesse Marsh would have said, "Let's have a competition. Whoever wins most gets to take them."
If not Strauk, I think it's not just down to technical ability in the end, but responsibility too, and who wants to take it more honestly.
Yeah.
So if not Strauk, I'll have Rothwell take it honestly. But wild take. I'll have Rothwell. I'll trust Rothwell to take it honestly. If not Strauk.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, it feels like the type of guy who don't really get nervous in that situation.
Well, he'd love it with Rothwell. I think he's a bit of a poser with Rothwell. So
Shawnee makes a good point. Actually,
Jake
to be fair,
Gilliamore.
says Ian Hart used to take them, and we had Smith and Viduka.
Do you know what it's like? I agree with you. It's like, but the penalty itself, he scores them, which is brilliant. But they're not hits it really hard in the side net or top corner. They're just normal penalties. I do think it's I'm more confident at this.
Yeah.
Is it a case of if the keeper goes the right way, he's probably going to save it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because it's a decent height for him. And Yeah,
It's a weird one. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if he scores them. I don't care.
As long as they go in, I couldn't care.
Yeah,
less, really.
exactly.
It's just every time he gets it, I'm just like, oh, you know.
The problem is too that apart from Bamford, I want to check it too after this live, but I don't think the other strikers have taken so many penalties in their careers. Yeah, probably Pirot is the one that takes the most, honestly. Apart from Bamford.
Yeah. Well, we do.
He was, wasn't he?
No. Yeah. It was still. Yeah.
How did he come off?
We scored a penalty on the 88th, and 2 minutes later, we obviously concede the equalizer. I was frustrated at the time that it came from a corner ball. I think the ball. Thank you. I think the ball that gets won. That wins them the corner. Even the ball, I think it's from like halfway. It probably shouldn't get through there. There's probably mistakes prior to it. I won't lie. I haven't watched it back. I was pissed off, but the ball's taken, and then there's a tackle in the box, goes for a corner. In the corner comes. I'm having a go at Mez at the time. People have told me I'm way off it. That's fair enough, but the defending's so shoddy. The fact that, it goes to and it's a great corner for me. I've seen Arsenal do something similar where it'll go right to the back post and whoever's there will head it back across. I just think, they didn't seem to be anyone challenging that, and I was so frustrated. It was Danny Bat as well, because I think he was a bit of a shithouse with Pirot throughout the full game, and he pissed me off. And he's a bit of a grizzled championship player, he's been around the bush. Anyway, he scores the equalizer, and I was just so frustrated. It's almost like I could sense it were coming when they got the corner. It was like, oh God.
Honestly, Joe, I was, I've never been so angry for life. I just can't stand it. You go. Honestly, I don't really care if we won that game and played bad. I don't care. But it's that moment that really angered me. Not the whole team or the game. Just that moment proper angered me, because it's the 91st minute, and it's Dan James's man. Why is it Dan James's man for a start? And the back post, 2 of our centre backs go out to it as well, which they shouldn't have. I don't know why 3 of them went out. And it's on the floor. It's not even like he's won an header. It's on the floor in our box in the 90-odd minute. That's bad. That angered me so much. I need to stop talking like that, or I'll get even more angry. But so there's a thing that, so people say, why is Dan James marking it? And I said, Dan, why is Gnonto on the big guy at the back? So the idea is, I don't know much about this. It's just, so the people in the box, the zonal people, they stand where the ball usually goes based on their previous whatever amount of corners. That tends to be the idea. So they're free to attack the ball as opposed to be marked, if that makes sense, which I get. But it doesn't work when they do something totally different to what you're used to. And then you've got a free man in the middle of the box and Dan James hasn't tracked him. And he didn't. And no one reacted to it. 3 guys went for 1 ball at the back stick. There's 0 people in that space. I don't think Mesley was amazing at getting back in the middle. He kind of hesitated as well, but everyone did. Honestly, it's like the team had no idea what to do when that corner went that deep. They had no idea. But Dan James loses his man, and no one reacted to it. There was no one in the middle because they'd all gone out. So it was just bad. Yeah. I'll let someone else speak about it. I'm just getting annoyed.
Yeah, and I think the key phrase is everybody was watching the ball and not watching the man.
Yeah.
In the end,
exactly.
I don't think Messi is at fault, honestly. The only thing I can say to him, he needed to position better the defense in that corner. He needed to command better the defense in the box, the position in the box, because that he has the world vision there. But I think in terms of his positioning, I think there's very little that he can do. The big mistake is a collective one, because everyone went back instead of going for the ball. He can't see the ball because everyone is in there inside the box, right near the goal line, basically. So no one went to cover for the man. Everybody went and was just looking for the ball. So that's the biggest mistake in the end. But I think the biggest mistake in the end, it's not just the one that caused the goal, is that I think mentally the team thought that we had done enough to win it. So, and that wasn't the case. In the championship, you have to go till the very last second and they had one opportunity before, so they were not a team sitting back, and trying to counter on that. There were times where they tried to play from the back, but very few times. But we know that they have the quality up front, especially with the late changes. They brought on, for example, other players that have depth, that are sharp. I think the body language and the attitude of the team and the end, unfortunately, was like, okay, we have done already to win it. But it's a learning experience. I think that will happen again because, there were times where we scored late on in the past seasons. It was like a landmark in the end, our trademark. And now we conceded that. I think it's a learning experience too. And let's remember that, like I said, still a point, one more point from third place. And the other teams, so it's a tasty, mistake in the end because we dropped 2 points, of course, but could have been worse. And it's still a learning experience too because I think they will look back at it at top patch and they will see that everybody went right near Melia instead of going and positioning properly. Everybody watched the ball and not the free men.
Yeah, and just what you said, Andre, that like the whole when we go ahead, we hardly ever drop any points or concede any goals. So maybe that is kind of the arrogance when we're ahead that we are quite good at this. We'll be all right. But then when something comes in and you're not sure what's going on in the moment, you panic. You all go to the ball. Yeah, so that's the thing for me. It's not something we do. We don't lose games or draw games or lose a win from this. We're usually very good when we go ahead. And that's still the case. I think it's how many wins and we've drawn 3 and that's it. Like we're ridiculously good at it. So it's not a theme. It's not something we do. So it's not a worry for me. I think we just switched off in the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit of madness in box as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ping ponging all over the place. But
great ball.
I think sometimes it's like shirking responsibility a little bit as well. I think everybody's sort of passing it on. Yeah. Nobody seemed to want it. There were no nobody getting it sorted. So it did seem like it was just they were sort of looking around, waiting for someone to make a big decision with it. So I don't know. It's just but like Lockie says, and with complacency, this might sound ridiculous, but it might be. If that's the only time that this happens, it's where we concede, where we've gone in front. It might just be a nice little reminder that we can't, not to get even remotely complacent with when we 1-0 up because teams will pick up goals. So.
And listen, I don't know. I assume you will have seen it, but Blackburn Rovers have tweeted about it today, aren't they? Saying hang it in the Louvre. The Haaland thing, but it's and even at the end of the game, John Eustace, come on, and then giving it someone in crowd, and you're a bit you got a point, man, at Ellen Road.
Really either, did they? I know we complimented them, but they didn't warrant that. They didn't play that well either. Do you know what I mean? It were
I hate to bring it back. It's like Jesse Marsh fist bumping when we've been beaten only 4 by City.
The thing is, from that point, they got overtook by West Brom, who won. So they actually went down from that point. So they didn't get much from it.
They're obsessed by 1 point, 1 Premier League trophy, one title. When Leeds United have 3 in the end. So hang it in the Louvre, but in the trophy cabinet, there's 1 at Ewood Park and there's 3 at Elland Road in the end. So might want to take a tour and see 3 instead of 1. In that gallery,
Never seen Andrea get like this against another team.
No, but I actually like them. I actually like them because they had a good team. I like all Raider football. So Shearer, Sutton, Lee Soaks, Sherwood, all those that team. With Dalglish. Good.
I didn't know they were still playing. To be fair, were they missing? There was a bit of because they sung, like all away fans do, sung Leeds are falling apart, like they do. Yeah. But that gets laughed at, doesn't it? And we all start singing it with them, but it didn't, to be fair. It's the only time I've ever seen that get a bit of a reaction I reacted to it, to be fair, because it was like, what are you on about? Like, no, I didn't like it. And then I thought, hang on a minute, that's the whole point. That's normally, but because we just conceded it, everybody were a bit gutted. There was a reaction to it, so they did actually get a bit of a bite out of us. Whereas normally you can actually hear some laughter, like these guys are off their head, why they're singing that. But it did get a bite this time. So I frustrated myself with that bite.
I wanted to ask you, Jack. So because I saw a lot of criticism on Twitter, especially about the atmosphere yesterday. So you were at the ground. How was it yesterday compared to other games? Honestly,
what in terms of
atmosphere? Yeah, around the ground in terms of.
It was really quiet in first half. To be honest, there wasn't much going. It always starts all right, but it didn't get hostile. To be fair, because it can't. That's the only thing that bothers me. I don't mind it when we're just expected to win, aren't we? So I think what fans going to be going crazy about. It's just when it starts to turn the other way and you feel like you're starting to get on and we start blaming ref for everything and Liners getting it big style down my end and that. And it's like, as funny as it can be, I do think it sets a bit of a, I don't know, it sets a bit of a rut off. And then, Dan James don't deliver the ball very well once. And then it's like, it starts to like pile in a little bit. But yeah, it hasn't been, it were really good against Middlesbrough. But it hasn't been, but I just don't think there's a great deal to be screaming and bawling about either way, whether it were not great yesterday or brilliant, when it's been brilliant at home. So it's going to get criticised all season until there's a really big game. And then next season, when we go up, Andrea, it'll be absolutely mental every game because there'll be so much riding on it, everything, every point and every minute,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think so.
We've had enough of this league, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. We do. And as much as we're
expectation there,
as much as we're frustrated and annoyed at Blackburn now, on Saturday at 12 when Burnley rock up, we'll be like up the Rovers, won't we? You know what I mean? We will be.
That? I'll credit Blackburn.
Yeah,
they
were
really good. They did what they needed to. We didn't create much. We usually destroy teams at Ellen Road. We hardly created out against them. So honestly,
and that wasn't a strong Blackburn side either. They had a lot of injuries out, man. They had a lot of players out, and they lost to Hashi during the game as well, didn't they? So I just think that's due to Eustace. Like he's a good manager clearly, but I wouldn't want to watch it every week. I can't lie, but it's fair play. Like he's got they were so well drilled. It gets frustrated sometimes when I don't know. You know the game more than me, and maybe there is something in it. But like during the watch, people say we just need to move it quicker and all that. And I just sometimes don't think it's as simple when I'm watching it. It's just moving it quicker because maybe I'm wrong, but every time we got it to the final third, there's no way to move it quick too. Like I can pass it fast there. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're then gonna suddenly forget where they're supposed to be and stop defending. Do you know what I mean? I just think sometimes we're overly harsh on our lads as well when you're coming up against such a decent defensive unit. There was no space, no space. And if we don't get the pen, we don't score, really. Or it takes a moment of magic, like that Solomon cross, which was, like we've said, inch perfect. And they don't come around every minute, do they? You know what I mean? That was like one of them where it was like, wow, that's on a plate, And he's that extra bit of sauce. I don't know if anyone else.
And even when we got it wide, like you're right. Like Dan James didn't beat his man, really. Yeah. When he beat his man, it was when the ball went straight over the top. Which, by the way, 2 or 3 times we tried it and they intercepted it, so they needed to be better. It's just little margins like that. You can keep moving the ball quick, but where are you going to penetrate? Where's that coming? Yeah. And that needs either an individual or 1 or 2 individuals to make some little movements to create space. And we couldn't get all them things together right. It was a bit off, not sharp enough. Dan James or whoever on the other side didn't win the battles individually enough. Yeah. So
Sorry, Lockie.
Sorry.
Their left back did a good job on James yesterday, to be fair.
I think he's on loan from Liverpool, isn't he, Owen Beck?
Yeah, good player.
Liverpool.
Because, Dan James has been doing that thing a lot where he cuts onto his left, hasn't he, on edge of box, and he clip balling. And that he won't having none of that. I don't think he delivered one ball in with left foot, because he has been doing that a lot, hasn't he? Because he's always getting at the left back normally, but he's stopped, particularly this season.
And they loved the fight as well, didn't they, to be honest?
Yeah.
They were like getting in the faces of the Leeds players. Like they weren't overawed by the occasion. Yeah.
I know you like him, Andre. Is it Britton on the other side, the right back?
Yeah, Britton, right. Yeah, he was.
Player. He's played well every time he plays against us. He plays well. He has a good game.
Yeah. No, he's an honest player, decent player for the championship. He's always up for a fight. He's not that stars and glitters, because he doesn't have the technique, but he's a reliable player, much similar to Ayling or Lubico at Al City, that kind of player. So that's why I named him last season, in the scout report for January, because I think we needed a reliable option, because we had Byram and Ferp on the left, and we didn't have a substitute for Archie Gray on the right. So that's why I named it last season, because he could have been a reliable backup for Archie Gray,
Yeah, fair.
And on that too, I think there was another moment that I didn't like yesterday. Apart from the sub of Solomon, it was Farke saying, "Oh, we don't want to disrupt the group, the harmony in the group," after the game regarding the January transfer window too. So I don't like that quote, honestly. I don't like that quote at all. I actually been annoyed about that quote. Yeah.
We will definitely get there. I do just want to talk a little bit on Schmidt. Just what our thought process is there now, and then we'll finish up on Jan. I do just want to respond though. I get Gnonto's ceiling is still very high. I get it. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination writing off a lad who's 21 or however old he is. I just think Funky Jawa, that for me, I don't get why. For me, all I'm seeing is stinkers. Genuinely, I think he had 20 minutes in the game he started. I can't if you can tell me something that he's done in the last 2 months where you've gone, yeah, he should be starting, then I can have a conversation with you. But I just feel like this moment in time, I hold Gnonto to a higher standard. When he was a rat last season, for example, and then he came back into the side, I was getting shit for backing him because I thought he did do well and he played well for a period. I don't think he has this season, and the readiness with which a lot of the fan base are just wanting him to get back in the side baffles me. He holds onto the ball far too much. I think he's very greedy. I want it all. Whenever he's got the ball, he'll carry it to a point where he's lost it or he's fouled. And half of the time, it isn't even a foul. So, look, you say he can do something in a split second. Tell me when. Tell me when he did something in a split second in the last couple of months, and we'll have a conversation. Because you'll be looking far and wide, mate, for nothing, basically. I'll tell you there'll be nothing. So, look, it might irk you, but I'm not writing him off by any stretch of the imagination. He is a top quality player. I just want to see more of it. Dan James is showing us much more. Solomon is showing us much more. Ramazani, before he got injured, was showing us much more. I was expecting Gnonto to go to next level heights. I genuinely felt last season he had a lot with the Everton stuff. Maybe there was I was expecting a Somerville-esque season from him, and I'm not seeing it. And that's why it's frustrating me, mate. Not because I think he's shit, but because I know he's a great player. So that's where my head is at with Gnonto. That is all. And I'm sorry it irks you, but that's just my opinion at this moment in time. And I hope he starts on Saturday, let's say, and he scores an hat-trick. And you can say, I told you so. But it is what it is. But right now, I'm just not enjoying him. That's where my head's at with that.
Quick to say, I think, same as I said last week, George, he's taking too many touches. He's overthinking it a little bit, hesitant in his decision-making. So what he does when he's hesitant is he runs with it. That's his natural, he's a winger. He likes to run with it. But he's not really much thought process at times. I think he's just overthinking what to do. Whereas you look at Solomon now, he knows straight away, as soon as he gets that ball, he knows what he's doing. He knows even Dan James gets that ball, he knows exactly what he's doing with it. But yeah, I don't think we're any of us are writing him off in his career at all. I just think he's not playing as well as he can. And if people think this is as well as he can play, then I'm confused because I've seen him play a lot better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 2 years ago, he had a good impact in the Premier League when he got the chance. After 2 seasons, he regressed. He has regressed completely, I think, from that moment. I think that moment still is his highest moment in his career. Last season, he had good moments, had some ups and downs in the spring, then good moment in the semi-final. In the final, he struggled massively. This season, I agree totally with what Joe said. And the only problem with Gnonto is that he is now 21. I expected him to be more versatile at this point, honestly. is still much a very 1v1 player, 1v1. And apart from that solution, he has added very little to his all-around overall game. And we saw that yesterday when he came on and was played in the middle. He lost possession 9 times in how many minutes? 15, 14 minutes. So he didn't have a good hold of the ball when he was with his back on goal. And the only problem is that he only plays on the wing. If you play him in the middle, he's not a all-round player like Aronson. So there were people saying, put Gnonto in the 10. He is not a 10. The 10 is a midfielder. Gnonto is a winger, and the winger is an attacker. That's the difference. He has the 1v1 situation, and apart from that, tell me how many times you've seen him play like, for example, Aronson does in the last 3 seasons. Never, basically, because he's a completely different player. He's a winger. He's a winger. He's not a 10. He may play as a second striker in a different formation, like a 4-4-2, but not in this formation in the middle. So he's a winger, and rightly so. You know, right now he has regressed because he lost his starting place to Dan James.
Yeah.
And in terms of hype, and that's also difference, proving it on the pitch, like players are doing, like Solomon, like James, like Pirlo this season. Pirlo is proving it with his goals. He's trying to adapt to what we ask from the number 9. He's been our better 9 among the 3 of them, Joseph and Bamford. And the other players that are potential right now, Gnonto and Joseph especially, and Ramazani too, because he's still adapting to English football. So right now, the players starting are the players that have proven it and are proving it week in and week out. The other players are potential. They need to prove the potential they have on the pitch, transfer it to the pitch, and prove it that they're just potential, but they can really help this team in terms of contribution all around into the game, inside the game, and try to push for the starting spot. They need to really challenge for a starting spot of James and Solomon.
That for me is the key point. That Gnonto is now not starting. That is an issue because he should be for me because of his quality. And look, I don't want to make this a back and forth, but I am. Which games? He scored against Middlesbrough, 10th of December. Scored against Swansea, 24th of November. And then scored against Coventry on the 28th of September. So it's a goal a month. So I don't know about that. And I don't know about 3 consecutive man of the matches. I genuinely don't know which games they were in November where he had 3 man of the matches on the spin.
After one international breaks where I believe he got a goal and assist in each game, he played well. But this is what we're saying, though. We've seen it, whether it was in the Premier League or at certain times last season, certain times this season. We've seen what he can do, and he's brilliant. But he's not doing that. And I know people say, well, it's harder to come on as a sub. He had how many touches did he had when he came on? He had a lot of time to impact that game, even more than he did for me. And there's just so many times where I see him run with it, and there's an opportunity for a 1-2 where he holds on to it. He'll take 2 extra touches, and he got tackled 2 or 3 times by, I think it was Britain on that right side or left side, whichever. These are the moments where you've got to beat your man. These are the little moments that the manager's looking for you to say, look, I am ready. I came on the pitch. Not only did I look busy and run around, I got product from it. I did something for the team. I created a goal. I know he was involved in the build-up, but this is what I'm saying. It's about the consistency of the performance. He can do it. This is why I'm annoyed by the way he plays sometimes, because he really can. It's just, it isn't fluid to him at the moment. Everything seems like he's forcing everything. I don't know. You were there, Jack. What did it look like when he came on for you?
Yeah, well, like I say, we said it last week, didn't we, about him forcing things and stuff. I just think he's probably just out of form. He's been asked a lot to do this season. Like we all thought it was going to be like the Somerville, and he's a very, very different player to Somerville, isn't he? But there's no doubt, in fairness. But yeah, it's just out of form, out of touch with it a little bit. And then Farke has brought him out the side, so it's not a huge issue really, that's occurring. It's just, and he's still getting minutes. It's not like he's not throwing him out, as he's not throwing him away type of thing. Also, I think when we're in Prem and Gnonto were really good. We're obviously, they want a lot of light, were they?
No.
In any of the games. So whenever somebody sort of like beat a man or we were on break, and he can break, can't he, Gnonto? He's like,
Yeah.
You know, and he bustles about, and he's very like he'll be a bit of a nightmare to play against when we've not got a lot of the ball. He can break away, whereas we're asking him to be extremely creative against low blocks and stuff, and it's not. It maybe don't fully suit him. I know we got a bit more out of him last year. I don't think he started that bad. I mean, he got 5 assists or something, didn't he? Like Lockie said, he went on a run where he did. It's not, and I don't think
he had a really good start to the season, Jack. He did, to be fair.
And you're not hammering him either, are you, Joe? In fairness,
No, I'm just
an
saying,
observation. He's lost his place, hasn't he? He's now, you'd argue, he's now probably the least likely winger to start for us.
Yeah, I would say so.
And how's that happen? That's all we're saying.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. That's it. I'm not sat here going, he's shit and that. I think
he doesn't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, he's valuable to the club, isn't he? You know, we need to keep working with him. Well, we need to keep working with him. Like I'm
right though, bro. And like,
100%.
100%. I just, he's just cutting a frustrating figure for me. That's all. But again, Anyway, let's talk about Schmidt as well, because I'm getting to the point where I'm doing a lot of defending of Farke's decisions not to play him. I can't lie, and saying, look, he just needs time, and we've spoke about it on here. And then obviously, I know you touched on it, Lockie brought on Ampadu, and Andrea touched on it, and then it's like Voba came on at left back, Ampadu came on at right back. Why? What do we think's going on there? Because I think people's initial reaction months ago was, well, why the fuck did we sign him? Just needs time, people. He was bringing him on in the wing, and then we saw him on at fullback for a couple of games off the bench. The last couple he's come on, and then it's like there's a perfect opportunity against Blackburn, and he doesn't get a look in. He must be frustrated, sat on the bench, probably thinking, "Fuck, did I leave Switzerland for this?" Really,
that was
What are we thinking with that?
I think in the season, I've been saying, "Oh yeah, he'll get his chance. His time will come." And I thought that were it. I kept putting the group chat. Now he's coming on. When Thingy went down, he didn't come on. Now he's coming on. When Bogle went down, he's not come on. Right, and then you look at Ampadu at right back and think,
it was poor.
Worse than that. But Farke said, like, he wanted Ampadu on the pitch for his leadership and all that. Right, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was needed necessarily. If he really wanted on the pitch his leadership, he'd probably start him and then play for him 60 minutes or whatever. But that was a perfect opportunity. We brought him in the summer as a backup option. That was the time to play your backup option as opposed to either spare centre back at left or right back. I understand Voba at left back because he's done it recently. He played well there. But it's the right back one for me. I thought that was the time. I thought that was the chance to play him. Clearly, I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate, but he's not at the level. He's not doing what Farke needs him to do at the moment. Maybe he's not settled in. Maybe he needs time to settle in personally, stuff like that. No idea. But he's not ready. And this comes down to, again, what did you bring him in for in the summer? Whose decision was that? If it was the manager's and he said, I want this guy. Has he not lived up to what he thought he might in training? Is he not quite doing what he thought he would? Or is it above Farke and they went, we're going to bring this guy in, and Farke just doesn't fancy him in this team right now? If that's the case, look, for Schmidt, he's a capable player, he's a good player, but we don't know what he's like in the Championship. We don't know what he does at training. But the fact of the matter is, what's he doing if he's not going to come on for the fifth fullback spot at that point? He didn't even bring him on. I find that when's his time? When is that going to be? Maybe it is like he comes in for Harrogate and he plays well in that game and he gets a bit of confidence in himself and he starts performing at training. We could see it. But it's, for me, that was a time where I genuinely, I've been like you, Joe. I've been going, it's fine, he just needs time. But when every fullback's injured and he's playing centre-backs there who he didn't start because he didn't want to play him 3 times in a week, who, by the way, isn't a right back by any means. You're thinking, God, he must be low down in the manager's evaluation at the moment. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I think football is a very simple game. I have a slightly different opinion, similar to yours, but with, I think, 1 or 2 differences, football is a very simple game. That's my opinion. So play the players in their natural positions. There's this obsession, this tendency of managers trying to adapt players into unnatural positions. Now we've seen Ampadu at right back. Last season we saw Pirot in the number 10 and Farke speaking to the press and saying, I know I've been a striker, I've worked with many strikers in the past, so I know what I can bring out of them. Then in the end, the experiment failed, and we saw Pirot in the 9 and Rotary in the 10 after that press conference months after, So if you have a right back and a left back injured or forced to go out, that's the occasion where you need to play and give a chance to the natural fullback that you have on the bench. Because if you don't give him that, first you don't get the progression because you play defensive players and try to adapt them try to transform them in attacking fullbacks. Okay, Wahlberg got forward, good left foot, but again, he doesn't have the pace to be a box-to-box attacking fullback. Ampadu didn't pass the halfway line because he's used to be playmaker in the middle, and he couldn't be the playmaker from the right. I think that was the perfect opportunity to see Schmidt, because I'm gonna say the same things that I said with Cresswell last season. Why do we need to play our best midfielder in defense, Ampadu? And we played with Ampadu in defense for the second part of last season, and he didn't play Cresswell because he didn't trust Cresswell. He thought Cresswell was not up there in terms of what he expected from him. But Cresswell was not capable of playing against the striker that he faced the season before with Millwall, where they missed the playoffs on like the final or the penultimate day of the season. And he had a good season with some ups and downs at Millwall. So honestly, I think Schmidt was one of the best fullbacks in the Swiss league, of course, very different league. Like we saw with Christensen, for example, from the Austrian league, when he arrived from RB Salzburg, But that was the chance because, okay, the players need time to adapt. Ramazani needed time to adapt too. Different player, of course, you're right, with different trajectory. But now he's giving him some minutes, less minutes than before he was injured. Now he's come back for injury, and we've seen that he struggles to adapt to the rhythm of English football at times. Schmidt needs chances too, if you want to include him into the squad, because honestly, I don't think he's that bad from what we've seen in Switzerland. I think
and in Europe as well.
And in Europe as well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, against Trabzonspor, that goal he scored before he arrived. And yet he can give you the pace. He's good with both feet. Of course, he's not Roberto Carlos or anything of Cafu, but he can be useful in this situation, It seems like, by not giving him a chance, honestly, it seems like he's like not proven and not ready. It's considered with the same amount of consideration as a youngster. He's not a youngster. He played tons of games in the Swiss leagues. He's not 19. He's not 18. That is a man. He's not a youngster. So give him a chance. Maybe he makes a mistake. Okay, you gave him the chance, but again, transforming players like the number 6 in the right back position, the center back in the left back position, people calling for wingers in the number 10 position, the number 9 last season in the number 10. Football is very simple. I'm not for playing players out of position consistently as a way to cover for position where you have players available who are natural in that position. Cresswell last season and Smith this season. So I hope she really gives him a chance after Harrogate, especially if needed.
Yeah. You have to hope he plays against Harrogate, don't you? And someone put it in the comments. It seems the only times he's willing to play him is when the game's already won and done.
True.
Jack, have you got any thoughts on the Smith situation? Because I think you were a bit like me, saying, "Look, just give him time." But I think I do have to agree with Lockie in that it was the perfect opportunity for him yesterday, and he still didn't get a look in.
Yeah, it went from being it became a worry yesterday. I think it became like something's not right, is it? And I don't want to get into like whether it's Farke being stubborn. Like everybody loves calling Farke stubborn about stuff, don't they? Farke's making the best decisions, his own decision. I don't want to go down that line, and I don't want to say about the lad's character because I literally know zero about him. Watched him for moments, literally minutes, and he looks decent as they all do when they come on for 2 minutes, you know, and we're 3-0 up. Like, you know, take a couple of nice touches and, you know, and everybody says, based on this cameo, we've got to get him in the side. Like, well, I don't know, to be fair. But, you know, it did become a worry because, you know, what's he doing there? But he's always on bench and stuff. He's taking him. Is there out in the injury, do you reckon? Pascal, when it took him ages to come back and we all thought that he should have been back. I'm not, you know, I would imagine he's back up to some sort of fitness. But it became a worry yesterday where there's something not quite right because that was the time to bring him on, wasn't it? So, and it would be good to see him. It'd be a nice, fresh thing as well because it's effectively a new signing, isn't it? You know, well, he is a new signing, but I mean, quite literally, like even still now. So.
It was.
I don't mind Wobber at left back though. I will say that. I don't think it matters. He's not too mobile though. I think it does in the Prem or against better sides, but when we've got a lot of ball, I think he's amble enough. He's nimble enough to get sort of like bounces forward a bit, and he's a big bloke. Like, he gets there, and he does have a good delivery. He's got a nice left foot.
Yeah, he's got a decent delivery, I think so.
I still want to see him against an attacking side, honestly.
Why?
Attacking side.
I'm only messing, Andrea, but I don't want to watch anybody like attacking us. But I know what you mean. He's not. He's a centre back, isn't he? But I don't mind him at left back in this side.
Yeah, in this emergency situation, yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Ampadu right back. Ampadu right back. No,
please.
I'm not keen on that.
He just stands there. What are you doing? Farke was asking his presser about Schmidt. He's like, why is he not come on? He said he wanted Ampadu on the pitch at right back for his leadership, and he mentioned obviously Voba played well. But then but what have we brought him in for? That's the perfect time. If it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks into the season, you've got it takes time this. But he brought him on. When he brings him on, he plays him higher up. And you're joking, Jack, but he does look all right. So he's all right in playing 1-2s and stuff like that as a forward. Just Farke, I think he's more of an attacking player. If that's the case, we brought him. Well, we needed right back cover at the start of the season. So if he's more of an attacking player, if Voba is our only real centre back that we've got in that cover in that position, and he's playing left back, we don't have any. So we're a bit short there if that's the case.
Was it a Farke signing? That's the thing as well. And sometimes managers, we could call the stomach. Sometimes managers are like that where they're like, well, I didn't really want that lad. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't really. I don't know.
That's the worry. That's what I mean with the worry.
We're guessing. Yeah, I guess
we're looking short now. If you don't trust Schmidt to play him any minutes, if Bogle's injured, hopefully he's all right. But you know, Byram can't play too much. Firpo's injured still. He'll be back soon, hopefully. But the point being, as Voba being cover, he's now our left back and centre back cover. Byram's our both full back cover. We don't have much, do we? We don't have much at the back, really, when you think about it. We're one road on injury away from a bit of an issue there. And then it's Ampadu back there, you know what I mean? And then midfield's looking a bit short if you don't play Gilavogi more than 10 minutes. So, yeah, I don't know. We need to be careful. I agree with Andrea. We need players that can play in that position, play them, you know?
I remember us saying, not last summer, but the summer before, you know, the same things like, okay, we have Byram and Farke, but they are injury prone. It was the summer of 2023. And now we have Byram went off yesterday and we have Farke was injured. So times fly sometimes, but the people don't, you know.
And we have the smallest squad in the league. I keep saying this.
Yeah,
I know we have a great squad, but it's still the smallest, which means you're only 2 or 3 injuries away from problems. And them great players are suddenly injured, then you've not really got backups. So Burnley have 8 more players than us now. They've signed another one. 8 more. That's 8 more options.
Early operations, and they started early, so they made their homework and they knew what they needed, acted immediately as the transfer window opened. I keep seeing these. We're going to decide after the 4th of January. Seems like a self-imposed transfer deadline, you know. And now we have a head of football operations, a technical director, all those sorts. Who's making the decisions? Who is making the decisions in the end? Because you mentioned Schmidt, Ramazani. Some teams have a director of football and they just have the director of football. We have like plenty of figures, you know, in the transfer department, you know, making the decisions of the transfers, and the manager too. We had even other personnel went out last summer. We didn't stay at the club. You said Schmidt was that a signing that Farke sanctioned or not? Because you have to wonder, of course, because of the minutes he is playing, but in the end not playing. So yeah, I think that we need perfect harmony. Farke talk about disrupting the mood. How was that the harmony? I don't remember the correct term that he used. I think that term, I'm gonna say harmony. You need to make the decision in harmony, because we need players that are completely adaptable to the style of football that the manager wants to play. Because yesterday we saw that he had a right back / left back, a proper full back on the bench, and he preferred to play a 6 and a centre back ahead of him. So
it is, yeah.
I think sorry, Joe.
Go on, mate. Go.
I think I love how Farke actually is with press, even though it's a bit boring, because he just answers everything. He just takes 10 minutes with each question, doesn't he? So if he's got 40 minutes allotted with him, there's 4 questions there, and he just goes off on one. And very rarely does he trip himself up, because he kind of just edges it to the way he wants to talk. But I do think saying that we brought Ampadu on for leadership is, well, why didn't he start then? If you're desperately in need of some leadership on the pitch, and he should be on the pitch in the first place, number one, then not out of position, because that's just like, well, is he just can he not lead from the bench then? He could just stand out in, do a Ronaldo final and just give it big licks from side. He doesn't need to be playing right back, just stood with linesmen. And then the harmony thing is, I'm not on board with that. I don't even get what that even means. That I understand, like, a player comes in and upsets the apple cart, doesn't it? Yeah. But only with one player. That's the nature of the beast, isn't it? You can't go, oh well, but Farke signed a right back, and then that's not going to bother any other position. It's only going to bother Bogle, isn't it? And Bogle needs to just win that battle with the right back. It's not going to if that disrupts the player, they're a bit weak, aren't they? In truth, if a decent player comes in to take a position and you can't deal with it, then you shouldn't be in our side, should you? So unless he's going to sign somebody who is off his head and going to start, dragging them all out partying and gambling and having time of their lives, I don't really know how it can upset what we're doing. So that's the first time I would say that I've thought, while he's sort of rambling, that he's tripped himself up a little bit. Because I just think them two comments are. And
like you can find out if someone's a bad egg in about 30 minutes, because someone will know someone who knows him.
Yeah,
who'll say no, don't bother. Like Farke knows a lot of people in football. He can find out in a minute whether this person's a good character easily. So yeah, I don't buy that. I'm afraid. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, me too. Because in the end, you just need to bolster the squad. It's not like a complete overall. You just need one or two players. One or two players in the end, and Burnley will do business. Sheffield United will do business. They're linked with Brereton, for example. Burnley have signed Son, a very good right back. Peruvian, Danish, what a mix. And yeah, everyone will do business if they need to. We saw last season Ipswich, Kiefer Moore, Sarmiento. They made the right signings. Southampton, Brooks, and other players. So. You need don't be complacent. Don't be complacent.
The players should welcome it. Is the point? It shouldn't be disruptive. It should be welcomed. Like they should want to go up, and any better options that we can get in to go up have to come in, don't they?
Yeah,
and the players have to welcome it. It's that is the game of football.
100%. Mark Neighbour, super chat earlier on, says, am I the only one who would not be devastated if we did not buy or loan in January? I like the continuity and depth in the squad. I know others might improve, but I'm content. I don't want us to buy for the sake of it.
I think we're so short. We need more players.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I get it, Mark. I do get what you're saying. And we could still, based on what we've got, we could still have enough. But... we now have issues at fullback. Let's say an injury to Pirro. Let's say an injury happens to Pirro. Yeah, Aronson.
Yeah.
Are you confident enough that you can say, oh, yeah, but they could do a job, but we shouldn't be in a position where we go, yeah, but they could do a job. We need to have, because I think, you know, and look, we can talk about, I said this the other day and I got a bit of stick saying, well, it wasn't because we didn't do business in January, it was Farke's fault and all that sort of stuff. But I do look back to last January and the fact that we left it really late and then we get Connor Robertson who couldn't get past Archie Gray. I know he had some vital parts in games, but could we have done more to freshen it up? I would argue, yeah. You know, when we were struggling and we weren't winning games, it needed freshening up because, but he couldn't. That's what I mean. The manager couldn't. And they have to, for me, the most important position is we have to get a 10 because if Aronson falls off a cliff, we have no one to freshen it up with. Regardless of if you think Gnonto can do a job there. Solomon, the manager doesn't think they can. Otherwise, he'd have done it. And he's the man picking the team. So we have to go and get a 10 for me.
Joe,
because
we lost both of our midfielders in the space of a week from long-term injuries. That's what it can happen.
Yeah,
we didn't really have a backup. Luckily, Gulavoglu was still about, and it was earlier on enough in the season that was still some free agents. It's none of that anymore. They've all gone. All the decent ones are at clubs now. I'm looking at Burnley here and looking at some of their players at centre-back. They've got Esteve, they've got Bayer, they've got Ekdal, they've got Worrell, Humphreys, Delacroix, something French, I don't know.
Delacroix,
yeah, Egan O'Reilly and Egan. Like that. It's like 7 or 8. That's too much. But the point being, if they have 2 or 3 injuries there, they're still stacked. Do you know? We don't have that anywhere apart from maybe wing. The wing is good. I like our wing options. They're good. We have depth in each position. Fullback, when they're not injured, is fine. But the problem is 2 of them are very injury prone. Midfield is fine. Grove will be back soon as well. The 10, centre back, short, very short.
Yeah.
If Rodon's injured, who goes in?
Exactly.
You know?
The problem is, again, people are saying, oh, but you need to consider that we have the Bayer too as the centre back. He's improving at the championship level. He's improving. People see young players and say, oh, that's potential, man. That's potential. Like we did last season with Joseph. You need to give them time. You can't expect them to perform from their debut, immediately. They need time. We've seen Joseph regress.
Not playing Joseph was the reason we didn't get promoted, apparently. Do you know what I mean? For fuck's sake.
No, I've always said that he deserved more minutes for his development last season, but expecting him to be the main man last season, and again, expecting him to be the main man this season is out of reach for me. And there's many questions regarding that super chat. If Stroud gets injured, who plays there? Because you have Weber covering now at left back. There's no other left-footed centre back right now. If Rodon gets injured, who plays there? Oh, but Grujev can do a job there. Ampadu can do a job there. Same on the other side, Bogle. You just have Schmidt, but he doesn't play him. Okay, we're okay with the number 6. We're okay with the number 8 because we have plenty of cover there. Send Crew out on loan, by the way. Wingers, we are full of wingers. In the number 10, Aronson gets injured. Who plays there? Oh, yeah, but Gnonto can do a job there. Solomon can do a job there.
Pirot,
no, Pirot.
That's the
exactly.
option. Yeah,
and that takes us where at the end of the road. Right now this season, the only player apart from his recurring struggles in the build-up, the only player giving us numbers and performing is Pirot out of the strikers, because Joseph is struggling. Bamford is deeply struggling. So I had people telling me, oh, but there's no way we can get a 4 number 9. Lads, Wrexham in League One have 4 number 9s. Ollie Palmer, other players like, Stephen Fletcher, they have 4 number 9s in League One. So if a club in League One has 4 number 9s, why can't we? And there's also considerations that because Bamford has a contract still 2026. Try to get him out on loan because he has a long contract. So there's no opportunity to sell him. Is unrealistic. If you loan Bamford out, for example, to a lower side of the table, so where it's guaranteed game time, honestly, you bring in another number 9 that can challenge Pirot, because right now, out of Joseph and Bamford, there's no one challenging Pirot. if Piro gets injured, we're on Project Zero again. Project Zero again. I finished.
No, yeah. No, I didn't want to cut you off, mate. I didn't want to cut you off, but you are right. We do have to. We can't rest on our laurels, because that, if anything, will cost Leeds United. It'll be something like that. It will be, and we'll look back at it. And I just hope that that the club have learned from last January. I know I don't want to hear, and I've heard a few people say it, but I don't want to hear Angus Kinnear say, "We tried," again, because I've heard it now since Bielsa was here. He used to say the same trope every time. We've got money, we have. I'm not saying go out and spend 25 million. No one's saying that. But we do have money. I know it's not my money, Jack. I know it's not my money, but we sold the most in Europe. The most in Europe in the summer. Farke has said that on a number of occasions as well. He wanted a 10 in the summer, so he has to get a 10 now. He has to, because I think as well, like I was saying this the other day, sometimes you have to put, if I'm owning the club, right, and the manager comes to me and says, "Look, we need a striker," the club have every right to turn around to him and say, "You've got 3. You're top of the league. You've scored the most goals. You're not getting a striker." As much as we might disagree, that's probably their angle on it. But if he goes to the club and says, "We need a 10, we've got 1, he's played nearly every single minute, you're going to have to help me out here. If he gets injured," then they have to go, "All right, okay, we hear what you're saying there." There are certain holes within the squad. I do think, like wing and maybe even striker, as much as people won't want to hear it, I don't think they'll entertain it unless someone goes. But no one's going to come in for a Bamford. They're not. Bamford's going to see out his contract at Leeds. I don't know. But wing fullbacks now, he can have a conversation. I think he could go to them and say, "Look, I know you brought me Schmidt. He's not playing because I don't think he's ready. Byram's could break down at any moment. Byram could break down at any moment. We've got the contract issue with Firpo and Voba. I think we could do. We're probably getting one. Right, okay, we're here, Daniel. Do you know what I mean? So it's like with the goalkeeper. If they went and go, they're probably going to say, "Look, he's good enough to get you out of the league. We'll talk about it in the summer." Because it isn't Farke's money. It's not our money. And they will probably say these things to him. But, I don't know. I think the 10s, for me, if we got, I guess I'll ask you, if we got a 10, would that be enough, folks? For me, it would. I've got a feeling Andrea might disagree, actually. You think we need more?
Yeah.
You do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least 2. Yeah. We need 2 players. The 10, if I have to choose the 10, the priority, and if I have the chance to get another one at the number 9, but I know also that realistically you need one of the 3, the 3 current ones that we have out, like for example Bamford on loan to, let's say, Plymouth, Hull, those kind of clubs, and you bring him another one. And if I have to choose, I spend my money on Josh Sargent because he's perfect for us, honestly. The way he plays, he's made for us.
For me, I think I want a striker, I do. But again, what Joe said, I think the club will look at it and go, "We've got 3. Farke always mentions Bamford. He says when he's fit, he's never fit. That's the issue with Patrick, right? Has been for years, probably all his career, apart from maybe 2 or 3 seasons. So when he's not been unfit, and he's actually been good, he's just always unfit or not sharp. Joseph's a young man, struggling a little bit. Piro's a goal scorer, but when he's not scoring, it's very quiet up there, and he's not really. There's a bit of a void as to what do we do after that? Who do we bring on that can score goals? So I think they'll look at that and say we've got enough. But yeah, like you said, the 10, we have one option. I don't want a winger in there. I want a number 10, like an actual player who is a number 10. I don't want square pegs round holes. And for me, so I'd go there and centre back. To be honest, again, the cover is Ampadu. I don't want Ampadu at centre back personally. I want him in the midfield. I think that's where he's best. I want a centre back at centre back. So I'd bring in a centre back. And again, looking at if we're short at full back and Voba goes out there, we don't have any centre backs. So you've got to change the team around. Just Get me a 10 and a centre back, and I'll be happy.
The market is huge there too, because I mentioned Sargent, of course, who was injured at the minute, but there's plenty of opportunities in Europe too. Like we did with Schmidt, but there's some players in Czechia and all that.
When they say it's a difficult market, I understand it is. Like, everyone has to work a lot harder in January to find the right players. They do. Trust me, it's difficult. You have to do more work at any level. But where you're looking, if you're looking for Premier League loans, yeah, of course it's going to be difficult. One, because they're not guaranteed starts at Leeds United. Two, because there's not many of them. So yeah, if you're looking at Premier League loans, very almost impossible market, to be honest, for us. But like Andre said, we have a big team there that have found players from different leagues. There are still players in different leagues that want to move to Championship, especially for a team who are a few months off the Premier League, So there's definitely players to get for me.
Well, we've spoke about it before. Andre, for example, knew Latila before he came to the Championship. Didn't think he could do it in England. Middlesbrough take a chance on him. He's done well. He's now could be on his way to Leicester for 12 million. That's the reports on, around at the minute. Locks just sent me something and was asking about him. So there are opportunities for you to go and get players out there. You've just got to be smart. And look, the summer we had the recruitment team. Obviously, something didn't work out because Farke wasn't happy at the end, and we've lost bodies from that. Steinson's gone, Miles has gone. I was hoping that's sort of like being made smaller because too many cooks spoil the broth, and they want more continuity and cohesion with them, so that January does run smoothly. But the proof will be in the pudding, and like we say, I just can't be dealing with another month of we tried, or we're waiting for the opportune moment, and oh, well, we wouldn't have got Solomon if that wouldn't have happened. I get all that, but do it now, because my worry is as well, how long does it take for them to get up to speed? How long before we see them? If we get them at the end of the month, does that mean we're going to see them fucking end of Feb? There's all these factors. And,
the best one is, but we have 2 international number 9s.
Oh, man, I'll never forget that, yeah.
Adam Farke.
Mental. John H. Steinson got promoted, yeah. I hear what you're saying, but there's less people there now. Yeah. Anyway, folks, we've already done it. We've done we're an hour and 18, folks. That's I didn't envisage we'd do that long, but it's been fun chatting. I'm fucking I'm knackered like. But hey ho. Farke spoils the broth, says Mark. There was another this one, Dominic, actually. Sorry, I did start this right from the start. I don't, at this stage, right? At this stage, when we've won, I don't know, like fucking, we've had him, I don't know now, for, it'll be like nearly 70 games. At this stage, if you're still not sure on Farke after 70 games and seeing the amount of domination we have, how complete control we are, how many points we've won. If you look for the year of 2024, I think we've got the 4th most points in the top 2 divisions. Did you see that table that got done in the Premier League and the Championship, where everyone will be over there? And Leeds were 4th. I think it was like City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Leeds. And look, and I know we're in a much lesser division and all that sort of stuff, but I think at this stage, if you're not sure on Farke, I don't think you're ever going to be, if I'm honest. So, that's where.
What does he mean by not sure? That's what I want to know.
Well, subbing a Solomon,
you still haven't worked it out, or not sure, or does he actually mean he don't like him?
Yeah,
just say whether you're in or out. I never understand. You must know by now.
Yeah,
you must be sure either one way or the other. Just pick.
People kind of teeter it in there when we get a draw or a loss. They go, yeah, see, but then they're waiting for the next one, but it never happens because that's how good we are. We don't go.
And then when we go up with him, and he's been brilliant in Championship for us for 2 years, we've got tons of points. So we go up, we'll lose a load of games, and then they'll all be right, won't they? So that's what I can't. That's what I am not looking forward to. We need to go up, obviously, and I hope he does really well. But if we're not 10th in league, Farke out again, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Like Shawnee, this is 70 games in the Champions. People have the ability to look forward. What does that mean?
No,
He
for-
said
no,
he's
no,
unsure-
That means exactly what I've just said, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah, but the first point was he was unsure about Farke. Not about the future. Now, still
Yeah,
unsure.
yeah.
His words were, "I'm still unsure about Farke." Not, "I'm don't know what he's." He might not be good enough for the Prem, but we're not in the Prem now, and we are in the
Who would you get
Champions.
in the Prem, Sean?
So-
I'm curious. If you're looking forward, if you are looking forward, who would you get then?
Yeah.
He's gonna say Graham Potter. Trust
He
me.
wants
yeah.
David Moyes, man. He's wanted
Yeah,
David
sound,
Moyes.
yeah.
He's wanted
Same.
David Moyes for 70 games, as Sean.
No, he's not
well,
gonna
fair
coach in
enough.
the Championship.
That's what I
Moyes-
mean. As long as you just, I don't have the ability to look into the future, but for the ability that I do have to look somewhat into the future, I know we're going to lose a load of games next year. So
Yeah.
Regardless of who
Everyone's
the
saying-
manager is, by
yeah,
the way.
Everyone's saying they'll
Regardless.
take us just to stay up. Well, everyone's saying that right now. Everyone's
Yeah.
saying it. No matter who, they'll take us just staying up. You watch 10 games in when we're 15th, 16th. It'll be, get him out. We should be higher. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
and I tell you
I-
what, if we start really, really well and we go on some sort of a crazy run where in 10 games we've won 4 or 5 games, which would be an excellent start,
Yeah, of
wouldn't it?
course it would be.
And then it collapses, but we're actually all right, it'll
Yeah.
be even worse than if we're just teetering round 16th all the way through the season. Because we need to sort of win one, lose a couple, win one. It needs to be like that all season to keep everybody settled. But if we're like on one, then it's going to be, we've got the best squad. You can't get it out of them, all this stuff. And then, and it's like,
Oh, do you know what? Like, as much as I'm excited for the Prem, I know that I'm going to be like saying, "Look, man, we're going to lose games. Relax," and everyone will be going, "You're an happy clappery
I know,
shit."
so mental.
No,
I'll be coming
but-
off streams like this. Oh my god, I can see
I'm
it
about
now.
Time
Man.
first season again, people. It ain't happening.
No,
Not a chance.
about the Epic Cupper thing, about the Premier League. First, we need to get there. Again, I'm gonna keep my superstition
We
every
will, bro.
time.
We will, man. It's
About
fine.
the Epic Clapper, we got called Epic Clapper when we were saying, but Farke is doing that right, in that game. Oh, you're defending the manager. You're not seeing what we see in terms of Farke out and all of that. Now that we're saying, like, we need players to begin. No, the squad is fine.
Yeah.
Every time. But everyone is entitled now to see that. Actually, I saw a picture yesterday of the top half of the championship table on Twitter with like 7K, like 7,000, likes of these comments saying, I swear every team in this side of this picture is worse than Southampton. Yeah, they are in the championship actually.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why they are in the championship. It was basically saying that every team right now is worse than Southampton, but yeah, Southampton are in the Premier League. That's why the other teams are in the championship.
No matter who we get in, who we bring in, what we do, manager players, it's gonna be so hard to stay in that league.
100%.
No matter who it is, how much we spend, it's gonna be almost not impossible, but extremely difficult.
And
So-
do you know what it is as well? Like when we went up under Bielsa, I never felt that we were going to be in a relegation battle. I didn't at that time, and we finished 9th, and it was magical and it was amazing because the football was just out of this world. Now we're more ordinary. Now we're a normal club, and I know that it's going to be rock hard. And if we got promoted, I would take 17 straight away. If someone said 17 for a season, I go, give it me now. Give it me now. I'm not asked. We're not that anymore because Bielsa was a different animal. A different beast. The
They also
football
tried
was
to win the
amazing.
league, didn't he?
Eh?
They also tried to win the league.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Legitimately, there was no right. Yeah, let's survive. Let's get into the second season.
exactly.
Let's go win.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Those players got
Yeah.
upset. Those players played like 3 years in one season. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
They did
That's-
everything to go.
That's the top we tried. 9th place, just
Yeah.
got then Jan James and Firpo.
was it, wasn't it?
That's mental, honestly. Like you mentioned today, in the group chat of Aston Villa trying to sign Daniel Malin, and he said it could have been us. Yeah, it could have been us. Edwin strengthened the side after we were performing that 4th season with Adam Forshaw, Alioski at left back in the Premier League, Dallas, all those players, they overperformed that season. And yeah, Rads, Orta, and Yeraki, they said, okay, we have a good squad. Let's just give him Firpo. And then we had the opportunity to get them James. because Ronaldo arrived, I think, at Man United that season. Or no, Sancho arrived at Man United that season, so they need to offload Dan James. So that's why we signed two. But that we had,
and we massively overpaid for him, by the way, at 25 million.
Yeah.
I think
we did.
I love him, but we did. We got scammed. But hey ho. Mark says, I'm loving Aronson, never stops, has his faults, but wouldn't change. Got the heart, redemption. Yeah, same, bro. And yeah, we do need to stop though now, because we're now done 1 hour and 26 minutes, and I know everyone's knackered.
Past midnight.
But it's been a great show. Very good show. Always great, always good chat. Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there. Big up to everyone that's still watching. It's like 6 minutes past 12, so legend.
Also, we're not getting McAtee, just to put that in there, right?
Yeah, we forgot to touch on it, yeah.
John McAtee from Bolton we're getting. He refers to him.
Yeah, we're not getting, yeah, that's crazy.
He's going to arrogate.
Can't compete. So we're not getting James McAtee. We're not getting Evan Ferguson, folks, before people start with that. We got linked to that. Do you remember I was talking on people were watching the other day when I started talking on about this Kazakhstani centre back, and I mentioned
Uzbek.
Leeds Live. Is he right? Okay. Well, he's going to City, so I don't think it's just mad. It's silly season. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm getting knackered now. But before you ask me, mate, my vape's tutti fruity today. All right, this guy comes on and just asks me about my vapes throughout the full stream, so I'll just let you know. Yeah, we're not getting anyone says something. We'll see. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Again, I'll say that again. Make sure you check out Jack City Music, City of Leeds fans. Make sure you check out Ben Lockie Leeds, and of course Andrea as well. Yeah, and Bowie Fan 3 says, you four have been great tonight. We have, if I do say so myself. I think it's been a great show. And we'll leave it there now. And tomorrow there'll be probably a pre-record preview ahead of. I was gonna fucking hell, we play tomorrow, but it's because it's gone into Friday and it's midnight. Yeah, so we actually do play tomorrow, but there will be a preview out during the day. Enjoy your evening, folks, and we will see you soon. Peace out now.